Welcome and good morning. Today is Monday, the 14th of June. To many, it is a happy day. It's Valentine's Day, and many will be celebrating today. What are you doing on Valentine's Day? Welcome to another week of In the News with myself, Savvy Sapphire. I bring you weekly news feeds from the property or business industries just to highlight different things that I find interesting in the news and that I like sharing with yourselves. If you have any questions or want to make any comments, please feel free to go ahead, make those comments, or just drop in to say good morning. Because I'm going via StreamYard, please don't forget to actually leave your name so I can genuinely say a good morning to you. Um, so let me know what you're doing for Valentine's. What's going to be different this year for you? Are you going out to celebrate? You getting spoiled? What are you up to? I'm actually working right through this evening, and I'm not really. I'm a romantic person, but not into the hype of Valentine's. I think it's become so um I don't know, it's commercialized too much, so I'm not really into it. But I know many of you are. So what are you doing today? So what do we have in the news today? So we're looking at the Valentine's. I've been speaking about it this morning. So Valentine's Day theme roads bag sellers, did you know, 29% more than any other UK average? Did you know that? So if you've got a Valentine's name road, you will actually be able to get more money for your properties. Research from the property platform Boomin has discovered that living on a Valentine's related road name could provide a substantial boost for 2022. Sellers, with house prices sitting above the national average, having risen by 20% last year. So, this research, Boomin analysed sold properties um, across the UK and completed this in 2021, which contained one of 8 Valentine theme terms, which were the road names, including love, Valentine, heart, arrow, sweet, rose, flower, kiss, and kissing. And I didn't even know that there were names in the UK with these roads. In total, 2,494 Valentine homes sold across the nation, um, from Amber Valley, Barking, Bury, St Edmunds, Guildford, Great Yarmouth, St Helens, Swansea, Windsor, Wrexham, and everywhere in between. With houses on the roads with Rose in the name, by far sold the most, which was 1,887 thousand transactions. How much will a Valentine property purchase set buyers back? The study also shows that homes sold across Valentine's Day roads average at 293,813 over the last year, 4% higher than the current national average across England and Wales. Additionally, they have increased in value by a huge 20% compared to the previous year. When it comes to Valentine's Day related road names, showing the most love to the homeowners with those with love in the name are amply the best catch in the last year. Homes sold on the love roads have averaged at 349,000, 29% more than the current national average, having risen by 22% and the values of the annual basis. So can you imagine buying a road with these in the name, love in the name? So how many houses transactions have sold over the last year? Love has sold 360, Flower 57, Valentine 55, Sweet 96, Heart 37, Arrow 47, Rose 1,807, Kiss and Kissing 9, and those are the different roads. So I mean, it makes interesting reading, doesn't it, to know that these road love names are actually selling. What a difference that does actually make. So in avenues, the government windfall follows new stamp duty surcharge. Stamp duty statistics show that the introduction of the 2% surcharge on residential properties by overseas buyers mean that the HM Revenue Treasury has recouped millions. Some 8,500 transactions have racked up £86 million for the Treasury in the first year that this new rule became in play. Mortgage experts at the wealth management company Quilter says, with many central London properties laying empty as a result of overseas buyers purchasing prime real estate as an investment, the tax was introduced to try and make it fairer market for Londoners often priced out. Clearly, in the first full year in force, there remains interest in properties in the UK from overseas buyers, even despite the global pandemic and the restrictions on travel. With the UK being one of the first countries to emerge from the pandemic, London property may soon become attractive again if overseas buyers can stomach the additional tax. However, the house prices remaining very high, it may be one step too far for this type of investment for the time being, that is. The latest figures painted a picture of a housing market that is slowly getting back to some sort of normality. They conclude with interest rates on the rise and the cost of living crisis looming, it's likely that some of the wind is coming out of the housing market sales and the prices may start to deflate over intense double-digit growth. What do you think about that? Do you think overseas buyers will stop buying properties over here, or do you just think that they will get on with it so long as they've done their numbers and it still works for them? Please feel free to comment. And good morning, Maureen. Lovely to have you here. Really appreciate it. In avenues, massive rise in first-time buyers contributing to the housing market. Well done, first-time buyers. Lovely to have you with us. And I know how difficult it is to get on the property ladder. It's just humongous to get on with deposits, stamp duties, and everything in between that as well. So, kudos to those who have managed to do those savings and actually start getting on the property ladder. There's been a huge rise in the amount of money contributed to the housing market by first-time buyers. They paid over 86 billion in 2021, increased by just over 27 billion in a single year. The figures come from comparison website Get Agent, which has analysed data from Halifax concerning their first-time buyers, cross-referencing it with the average price paid based on land registry data. This shows across Britain some 397,332 first-time buyers entering the market in 2021, and that is up from 295,390 in 2020. That's over 100,000 more first-time buyers in a single year, with the South East seeing the largest increase at 24,416, followed by London on 18,717, and the Northwest with 8,698. The average price paid for the first home also climbed from 199,251 to 216,836 in 2021, a 9% increase. Reflecting on the regional differences in the house price growth, Wales saw the largest first-time buyer price paid jumped up by 12%, which is really good. Jumped up by 12%. So what do you think about that? Do you think first-time buyers, I mean, as I said, kudos to first-time buyers. I'm really pleased that they managed to get on the ladder now, because at the end of the day, everyone deserves an opportunity to start seeing something happen, So what do you think about first-time buyers being able to get on the property ladder? Have you struggled to get on a property ladder yourself? Are you still struggling? And if you are, please feel free to reach out and we can see how we can assist you to get a better understanding of it. So in avenues, section 21 scrapped as Gov hands rental power balance to tenants. The government new levelling up white paper includes a dramatic reshaping of the private rental sector. Section 21 eviction powers will be removed from landlords, and Housing Secretary Michael Gove says this will end the unfair situation where renters can be kicked out of their homes for no reason. In addition, in the private rental sector, will have to meet a minimum standard to be known as the Decent Homes Standard. What do you think about that, having a decent home standard? It continues to say, the white paper does not stop there. It also adds, they will consult on introducing landlords registry and will set out plans for cracking down on rogue landlords. So they should. Making sure fines and bans stop repeat offenders leaving renters in terrible conditions. No explicit references is made to the National Landlords Registry mentioned earlier this week in a government leak about today's announcement. There's more. The government says home ownership will be boosted via a new 1.5 billion levelling up home building fund being launched, which will provide loans to small and medium-sized developers and support the government's wider regeneration agenda in areas considered a priority for levelling up. The government is also committed to build what is called a more genuinely affordable social housing. A new social housing regulation bill will be introduced following the Greenfield tragedy in 2017. The 80-20 rule, which leads to 80% of the government funding for housing supply being directed at maximum affordability areas. In practice, London and the South East will be scrapped, with much more of the 1.8 million brownfield funding instead of being diverted to transforming brownfield sites in North and Midlands. Metro Mayor will allocate 120 million of this funding. The whole levelling up white paper is a vast and far-reaching, with 12 so-called missions, given legal status in a flagship levelling up and regeneration bill. This will shift government focus and resources to Britain's forgotten communities throughout the 2020s. Here, there is 12 missions here, and I will send these I'll put these all in the group so you can read. And they're all to be implemented by 2030. By 2030, pay, employment, and productive will be risen in every area of the UK. We're containing a global competitive city with gap between the top performing and other areas closed. I will put these all in the group so you can have a good read of these, so you know what's coming from the government and the paper that they've done. In avenues, buy-to-let mortgage rates to rise quickly this year. Warning. Buy-to-let mortgage rates will rise very quickly this year, according to a leading broker. Angus Stewart, Chief Executive of online broker Property Masters, says, we predict when the bank increased the base rates just ahead of Christmas last year, that was the starting gun had been fired on further increases in the new year. 2 hikes in the base rate in quick successions shows some urgency on the part of the bank, which is understandably given the spike in an inflation, rising energy costs. We predict that there's going to be more to come. He continues, we have urged landlords to immediately review the rate they are paying for their buy-to-let mortgages, We expect standard variable rates to rise in line with the new base rates very quickly. Likewise, those on tracker type products will also see that the costs rise very soon. The situation is more complex than that. And when it comes to fixed rate mortgages, where um, where it's still competitive amongst the lenders, especially when it comes to fixed term 5-year mortgages, there are deals to be done. If a landlord's in a position to move quickly, please move quickly. In avenues, what does people think about cryptocurrency and property? Do you think they go together? Do you think this is something that you will get into, doing cryptocurrency and property? Well, crypto property investment, is it worth the risk? Is the question I'm asking you. Cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum have become increasingly popular amongst young investors, despite being famously volatile. But at present, buying a property with crypto remains very rare and niche, not to mention highly difficult. With a market that continues to be unrecognized by the Financial Conduct FCA and the Bank of England, warning that cryptocurrency could be worthless. Could this ever change? Will property investment via cryptocurrency ever become mainstream, despite the risks attached and the greater risk of scams and fraud? Private trust and private clients practice in Guernsey said that there was a resurge of interest in not just owning cryptocurrency, but also investing it as well. As with any investment, if you don't understand what you're doing, you may lose your money. So, what are you willing to invest, and how much research are you willing to do? Questions for you. Most of their clients do extensive research before they invest to ensure they understand smart contracts, blockchain, and how to process works. One thing that is often forgotten is how they should protect that investment and how they can ensure it is passed on to the family members on their deathbed, should they pass. So when you're looking at cryptocurrency or anything like that, do your due diligence. Bitcoin currently is nearly down by 40% in the last 3 months, although by the time you read this, it may have changed. A buyer wishing to use it should arouse suspicion. It was as often still a go-to payment method for criminals, sellers, and those agents have a legal duty and moral, if you ask me, to check at the source of funds being used by the very nature that it's impossible to do. So, what do you think about cryptocurrency? Do you think it has any business being in the property space? Please feel free to share your answer to that. I'd love to hear your opinion on that because I like cryptocurrency. I think it's a good thing to have. Always say having alternative investments is a good thing anyway. So, what do you think about it? Do you think having an alternative investment is a good thing? Or do you think we should, if you're going to do one investment, just stick to that one investment? Please feel free to share. And if you're coming on a replay, don't forget to type hashtag replay. So mortgage choices fall, but does it mean housing market is in retreat? After a long time of improving in the level of products choices for borrowers, February's seen mortgage availabilities fall for first time in almost 18 months. There's been a drop of 38 in the number of deals available to borrowers to 5,356. However, when compared to 2 years ago, there's currently 280 more products on the market. While fixed rate mortgages prices is now instrumentally linked to the changes in the Bank of England base rate prior to the decision to double the base rate to 0.5% a couple of weeks ago, we have recorded increases of 0.6 or 0.0% on average overall 2 and 5 year fixed rates between January and February. The 60% loan to value tier saw the largest monthly rise, with 2 and 5 year average going up by 0.09% and 0.08% to 1.82% and 2.06%, respectively. In fact, since October, the lower loan to value average rates have far outpaced the average rate increase, as providers seem to have made their most competitive pricing decisions in the top loan to value brackets of late. What do you think about that? Do you think that there's less products on the road? Have you gone to look at buying recently and noticed that there's no longer the amount of products that we had previously? All right, in avenues, office demand surge. So major cities returning to normal. Oh, was a shocker when I read this one, because when you look at it, commercial conversions have really stepped up their game, and we're doing a lot of those because the high streets were desolate. But it would seem that people are now going after offices again. I didn't think it would ever return back to being normal. Rightmove says that the level of business owners inquiring about leasing office spaces has now surpassed even pre-pandemic levels. In January, demand is now about 54% higher than in January 2021 and 15% higher than pre-pandemic January 2020, according to the portal, which lists commercial properties as well as residential. The office sector started the year with the strongest growth in inquiries of any sector, of more businesses access their offices needs and hope to be moving towards a new normal. This is not just in small towns and cities where demand is well ahead of pre-pandemic levels. Demand for office space within the UK 10 biggest cities is now just 8% behind pre-pandemic levels, up by 62% on January 2021. Director of Rightmove Commercial, Alex Salmon, says the office sector has taken a knock since the pandemic started, with businesses cancelling their contracts or downsizing, and there has been much talk of working from home becoming a permanent fixture for many companies. Although businesses have decided to move fully remote working, there is a large number of introducing hybrid policies, with office working a few days a week and others who would prefer their employees to be in 5 days a week. Many business owners adopt a wait and see approach, but we now seen many taking action to try and settle into a new routine. The biggest city will take a bit longer to recover, but there's a promising signs of increased activity this year, which is good news, because I like to see the high streets, the office blocks, fully functioning, because it allows us then to know that things are moving in a good direction. So kudos to those who's going back to offices as well. In avenues, we're looking to do some events this week, and one is tonight. So let me share with you what we're actually doing tonight. Okay, Maureen's done some comments. They will be getting on with it. No stopping investors. Yep, absolutely. About time. This is overdue. Bitcoin currencies. She says other currencies are risky. Yep. Bitcoin is more volatile. Bitcoin has a more volatile reach, but however, it fluctuates all the time. And you will see that it's hard to buy Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin myself. I don't know a few people that do as well, but it's hard to gauge where it is. It's just a case of just having it and having it sit there. anything that you're doing outside of the norm when it comes to investing, it is a risk. And that's the thing that people need to understand. It's not a quick get rich scheme. And don't look at it like that. Look at it as something that you're going into to either learn about it or just earning small bits of money as you go along. I always call it your pocket money. So what have we got going this week for the Savvy Women group? So we have today, let me just add this to the stream. We have weekly workshops that we are doing this week. And we've got one at, we do our weekly in the news, as you can see me here now. So we do our in the news. Then we've got tonight, we've got the Savvy Success method. This is going to be weekly workshops from 6 p.m. to 6:45 with Q&A, where you could come along and learn about property investment or business, how to start your business or how to grow your business. So we're doing these workshops every Monday, 6 till 6:45, where you can come and learn. I'll be sharing with you different topics every week where you can come and learn about business or property investment on a weekly basis. Then we have this evening at 7 p.m. This is myself presents how to fall back in love with your business. Now, as you know, sometimes when you're doing business, you don't know how to grow it, or you can have financial problems, or there could be anything going on with your business and you're falling out of love with it. So I'm going to show you how to fall back in love with your business this evening, live here on StreamYard, where you can ask your questions. I'll be sharing a presentation with you, so please feel free to come along. And again, they're all free. So, don't be afraid to come along and see what I'm up to and see what I'm doing. We also have every Friday, I've got the Savvy Property Investor Show, and we're looking for collaborations with people who would like to come on our show and talk about property investment, business, anything to do with the business world. Because what people don't understand, when you're an investor, you still are trying to build out your business. Now, that could mean doing marketing, social media. That could mean doing podcasts like I do. It could mean anything to engage with your audience or investors to show who you are. So I'm looking for some people to talk about that. And how do you navigate family and business? Mindset, changing your mindset, anything along those lines. So if you feel that you've got something to say and share and would like to be a guest on my show, the Savvy Property Investor Show, I'd love to have you. So please feel free to reach out and contact us. You can see our details below, and we'll be glad to have you as our guest on our show. Each week we also bring a VIP guest, which will be showing all the details. And if you want to join any of these meets tonight or any other week, it would always be on our events page on Facebook. So go over there and you'll see all the links. So thank you for being here this morning. Really appreciated your time. If you're on the replay, please type in #replay. If you've got any questions for me, please feel free to share those as well. I look forward to hearing all what you've been up to on this day. And have a lovely day and a lovely week. And I'll touch base with you next week. Bye for now.